Welcome to the P.O.W.E.R podcast, property, ownership, wealth and everything related. I'm Melissa Ashcroft, Director of the AAA Financial Group, where we help clients structure capital and finance across property, business and investments. In this episode of the P.O.W.E.R podcast, I sit down with Julie Ockerby to unpack the evolving world of hospitality, design, leadership and business. Julie has built an impressive career across hospitality, interiors and experiential design, becoming known for creative spaces and experiences that connect people, influence behaviour and ultimately drive commercial success. Her career journey is incredibly unique, beginning in nursing before transitioning into hospitality and design, giving her a deep understanding of human psychology, emotion and how people interact with spaces. Today, Julie works within the leadership team at WMK Architecture, where she collaborates on projects across hospitality, aged care, residential and lifestyle-focused developments. In this conversation, I hope Julie shares the great insights into the future of hospitality and design, the importance of relationships and reputation in business, and why understanding people is ultimately the foundation of every successful brand and project. For business owners, developers, entrepreneurs, and anyone interested in leadership, property, hospitality, or creating exceptional experiences, this conversation is a must. Julie, hi, how are you?
I am really good today.
Good, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
I've followed your career for many years and
that's good.
We share a educational background.
Yeah.
So not in tertiary studies, but in our high school years.
Yeah.
So that's going way back. So what I've always been interested in about you is how you've created this successful career. So could you start from the beginning, please, and just tell us all a bit about yourself?
It's interesting, isn't it? There wasn't really a grand plan, I have to admit, and I always say that to a lot of people. And speaking about the schooling that we had and we shared, albeit, transparency, I am older than Melissa.
Slightly, ladies and gents.
But there really wasn't a grand plan. And to be honest, if the teachers were still in this room with us, they'd probably say, I don't know, like she was pretty inconsistent. Like if you went through our old school reports, that would be an interesting read. But one thing for sure was I was probably never geared to just have one defined career path. Like there was always a lot of interest, which probably frustrated my parents quite a bit. But what do you want to do? And it's like, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I guess now as a mum of two kids in their early 20s, I've got to remember those lessons learnt as a parent. They may not have one career path, or maybe they will, who knows? And everyone is so different, and accepting that. But I finished school and took a bit of a break. When the whole gap year thing wasn't the thing, and it was quite frightening for my parents, I think, what is she actually doing? And I felt that it was a good thing to go out into the workforce, and I was working in retail during high school, and I really liked the vibe, and it was the whole clothes thing, I think.
I worked in retail too.
I know, it's good. I think it breeds that little confidence and gets you out of your shell quite a bit. So I'm a big fan of the retail world. But did go to uni and 3 years Bachelor of Nursing, and came out and worked in the public hospital system. And very much loved it. Loved the people I worked with, loved the patients, loved the type of work, and it was ICU cardiology. So it was hefty, hardcore stuff. And I didn't leave the profession because of the low pay rate or the conditions, which the reality is it is they should be paid more, and I'm a big advocate for nurses and those in frontline to be paid more and be better looked after, and I still believe that they're not. But I did study more while I was working, and a very long story short, did veer into the world of hotels, which forever and a day I've always loved. The big hotels, and didn't really understand the boutique hotels back then because there weren't really any, or none that I knew of. But joined a company called Design Hotels, which was a consortium of boutique hoteliers, not necessary hoteliers. They could have been architects, fashion designers, etc., but very niche and special properties compared to, not saying the bigger properties aren't special, just a different offering. And using the word lifestyle, which there are various definitions of that, but probably the first users of the word lifestyle and not so much luxury, because that has a different definition altogether as well. So loved that world, but that edged towards that creative side, which was the interior design, and studied a little bit more there as well, and started working for myself purely because it was at a time when I had the children, and it wasn't really the time where workplace had that flexible work nature for women particularly, and men I don't even think even had paternity leave, to be fair. And I was in a leadership role and in an industry where, you know, I felt that you were either in it or you weren't, and the whole notion of part-time, let alone flexible employment, just wasn't an option. So what do? Go start your own business. So certainly didn't have any mentors or anything like that, but have always been conscious that that whole world of mentoring, particularly women in business, has been so important. I think that's where we've always related a lot in that space. And started a business where I wanted it to be a mesh of that world of nursing, that I come in with that practical and operational side and what worked for people who are in that field, but also that hotel sense of arrival and the allure of that. And that led to designing in the seniors living, aged care, retirement living space. And that does come with a bit of a personal side as well. I lost my father in 2004. He was quite a bit older than my mum, so it was the age group where he was towards the end of life. And I was amazed at how poor the aged care homes were, like, you know, 4 people in a room, 1 bathroom. I mean, how is it that you work so hard your whole life? And this is how it is.
This is the end part of the journey.
There was nothing to aspire to.
Conditions.
And it's no wonder that loneliness is a problem, because no one visits you, because you're in this home and it's smelly and it doesn't feel right and it's sterile, all those things. And that was in the late, what do you call it, zeros, 2000s. And there was a real innovation piece for that space. So we really wanted to design homes that had that sense of arrival, like the hotels do, but that residential nature in the resident spaces. And it really has uplifted that whole industry, and bringing hospitality into it. So there's such a mesh, whether the operators believe it or not, there is such a mesh between hospitality and retirement living and aged care, like it's, and it influences each other. And even in the hotel space now, you have the baby boomers that you design for, you know, like it's discretionary cash, they're the big travellers, they're the big spenders. But there's niches to that age group that you should be designing towards as well. So it's interesting. I feel like we're in a really interesting time in the world of design, in all of those sectors, where we can really push the boundaries. And that's what we strive to do most days.
And you're at the forefront of that, you know, let's say 10 to 15 years ago. And now I understand, I've been in aged care facilities where it is that horrible experience.
Oh, it's icky.
But now I guess our mutual experience in that space is you walk in and you do feel like it's in a hotel. And, you know, there's beauty spa or there's activities, and I think it actually would lead to more visits as well, because you feel like, oh, you know, my parent or, you know, that older figure in my life is in good hands, but it's nice for me to go visit them. It's not a horrible afternoon, because they might be at different stages of their health journey as well.
That's it. So, and, you know, that food and beverage experience is so important. And if you're designing for the next, say, 20 years, those who are going through that have that expectation, and plus that intergenerational side as well. So you've got to pull it all together, whereas before it was just
that's what
boxes,
it was.
just boxes.
Okay, so that's so interesting, because you kind of utilised 2 different experiences to be at the forefront of an industry now, and in Australia especially, ageing nation and aged care facilities are being built everywhere. Like you must be
it's booming. Like it's
mad busy.
It's I know. I do love sitting here though. It's a nice little chat and a breather.
Yes. Well, hopefully you enjoy this time. You're not flying off after this
probably
discussion.
Next week.
Oh, okay. Well, I do often see Julie travels quite a lot, and obviously you're very au fait with the travel and hotel experience.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's it is the travel side and meshing that into your career, and therefore my own career was very much a conscious decision.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to have how do you experience that when you're raising kids?
Yeah, I was going
and
to say,
a career?
how do you
it's
do
really
that
tough
with young children?
So you travel with your career.
Yes.
And I've been very lucky to be able to design a career that has involved that.
Yeah.
And that's been a very conscious decision to have that. And I've got kids who have therefore become very independent.
Yes.
Probably a little bit earlier than they should have.
Well, look, I think every parent's dream is to have independent children, and we try our best with our kids, but you never know. I often think that children being able to see parents working, and that this is an important part of their life as well, and their person is an important thing. Not just that they're doing it to pay for everything in their lives, but it enhances what I think they should look for in the future.
Yeah.
And I will segue a little here from our set questions, but just on that, we all talk about this, and I think this is the appropriate time to mention it, this balance, if it exists or not. I call it choices. You kind of alluded to that then.
Yeah.
So how has that impacted your career, the choices and the balance side?
I think 100% there have been bad choices. Like there's been a world of bad choices, and I'll say it, things that haven't worked out, whether they're relationships or business or whatever.
Yes.
And failures, harsh word but true.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest story piece out of those experiences is how you bounce back. I've never alluded to a perfect life or someone who has been able to achieve what everyone calls the work-life balance, because I'm not a big believer in it.
No.
I feel also for women, and I think men are starting to talk more about it, to strive for this elusive work-life balance actually puts more pressure on you. And whether you are parents or working parents or not, trying to achieve that some weeks is just another pressure point that you don't need.
True.
And it becomes a choice. Hey, today I choose not to go to the gym because I can. And I think being able to make choices is probably the biggest, achiever. Rather than putting pressure on yourself saying, but I have to do it because I have to achieve this work-life or so-called work-life balance.
The guilt kind of comes into it, like, am I doing enough here? Am I doing enough there?
Yeah, and I think women suffer from guilt way too much.
Yes.
Whether it's, am I there enough for my children? Am I there at work long enough?
Yes.
Have I achieved these milestones that everyone else seems to be achieving, but I'm not quite there? I mean, who really cares? Like, are you good with it? And when the things that you want your children to learn from you, I feel that, my kids are now 22 and my youngest is nearly 21. I feel I've learnt a world from them. Like, I have a daughter who says to me, oh, for God's sake, Mum, just go live life. Like, I don't even know why you work so hard, and I and that often resonates in the back of my ear, saying, oh, actually, she's right, I am living life. And, just all these things that you do, whether you're aware of it or not, you do put all this pressure. Yeah, exactly. And it's so unwarranted and it's so unnecessary.
It is, isn't it?
I don't know why we do it.
I don't know either. I think it's as you said, it's not the balance, it's the choices. And I watched Devil Wears Prada the other day, and Miranda Priestley said, I just love the work.
Yeah.
So she had to create a persona in that film just to be that person at work, but then she could equally turn around and say, I chose that career over spending time. Yeah. So it's not a necessarily bad decision to choose one thing over the other. And we do it on a daily basis constantly.
Yeah.
So,
and the worst thing we can do to each other is be super judgy.
Yeah.
on someone else.
I try so
we all
hard
do.
Not to be like that.
Yeah, I know. I'm very conscious of it too. We all do. It's natural to judge, but
and compare.
But I think it's knowing that, and then to pass judgment is a different ball game altogether. Yes. And I feel that's pretty unfair to a lot of people. Yeah. Because you never know what goes on in the background.
Behind closed doors.
Yeah, exactly. But choices, 100%.
Yeah.
Like it is.
That makes
it's and just the beauty of being able to say, but I choose to.
Yes.
I choose to be there. I choose not to be there. I choose to do that, and I chose to go down that road, and it didn't work out. Whatever.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah, it's all okay.
Yeah.
You know, it does add to a very colourful life.
I think
there's no shortage of stories, but anyway.
Exactly. So then I guess, going with the flow of that, you have, all I see you do is support other women in our industry. Yeah. You're constantly speaking on panels. You're always a champion of women in women's groups as well. So is that experience of, making choices and choosing things for your career been a reason for helping women? And, tell us a bit more about the status of women in your space and how that's evolved.
I love seeing the younger generation and watching them, how they make decisions, their lifestyle choices, whether, here comes a judgment, whether, I feel right or wrong, whatever.
Yes.
And it's a classic line, isn't it? I mean, we heard it growing up, like, we didn't do that in my day, and I feel like I'm starting to...
Yes.
It's like, stop, don't say it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so easy, it's so easy to go down that road. But I love seeing the enthusiasm and, all these, the time and energy that they have, but sometimes they just need a bit of guidance,
yes,
because I think it's a very fast-paced world compared to when I grew up, which was in the 90s, was when, we were just coming out of school.
Yeah.
It's a very different world.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of activity around, but I do love how the younger generation have this sense of bravery that we probably didn't have.
Yes.
And again, it's about choice. Well, I'm not necessarily like that person.
Yes.
I do like quiet time, and whereas I always felt there was, let's just go out and back it up and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And no, I'm just having a quiet week, like just little things like that.
Yes.
I love having a younger team because of being able to mentor them.
Yes.
And one of the best moments is when I say, don't learn this from me. Like when you see me do this.
Yes.
Don't do that.
I know.
It's not great. I can't break the habit.
Yeah.
But don't you do that.
Don't be like me.
Yeah.
But learn from this.
Yeah. But aspire to do these things, or see that person, she does that or he does that so well. Like, look at that and be inspired. Don't be inspired. Like, I am not always inspirational because I well know my flaws.
Well, you are to me.
I love it.
Yes.
So I'm always like, don't learn from me on that one. Like, do this much better.
You've got that self-awareness to be able to say that. There's people that don't have, I guess, what we call EQ. That will just continue on a path and not give a shit really, and just battle axe through. But you're, teaching as you go.
Yeah.
Which you don't have to do.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it is. It is very much a choice, and I am brutally blunt sometimes, or actually most times. But I've also learned as I've got older that the delivery and how you deliver it, same message, different delivery style, makes the world of difference as to how someone feels.
Yes.
And I'm very conscious of that. Because you can, in a leadership role, in whatever sector, in whatever industry, you can make or break their days and their choices.
Yeah.
You can limit their choices, or you give them a world of choices.
Yeah.
And you have a hand in that. And that's where I come from in that mentoring side. Like, these are our choices to employ these people. They're our choices to give them a go, and everyone has to start from somewhere. So you can either make or break that.
Yeah.
And it's always a two-way street.
Yeah.
And that's always a discussion point. Like, we've got to talk about how do you feel? Like,
What do you think could have been done better? How do you think you'd, approach this?
Yeah.
And that self-reflection, I think, in any industry is important. if we go into the construction industry, which you and I both work in very different areas, how have you seen the role of women evolve? Have you seen more come into your industry? Is there a divide there?
I still think it's imbalanced, and whether it's ever going to equal itself, I don't know, but certainly more women in the construction. When we see it on site, we see, you know, there used to be years ago, you'd go on site as part of the architectural team, and you'd be lucky if there was a women's toilet. So if you had to use amenities, it'd be, well, good luck to you. Like, I prefer to hold on, to be honest. But but now you see, and it should be, you know, and you see way more women on site. You know, they're a lot younger. Way more women in project management and development. Like, it's really good to see. And even in architecture and engineering, seeing more women. Again, still not, you know, 50-50. I work in a firm where it is 60% women, and that was one of the bigger discussions as to, with the small business being merging into a bigger business, how was that going to look? And was I, being this person, ever going into a firm that was dominant with men? I'm not saying, with talent aside, if we just turn about gender. And I, in my perfect world, it had to have the right vibe, it had to have the right culture fit. We had to speak the same language, you had to be aligned in so many things. And one of them was that inclusivity and that diversity space, and it is, and I love it, and I love seeing, you know, seeing the younger women strive as the younger men strive as well, like it's, and working together. It's a totally different language, you know, and it's a different culture fit. And in many ways it feels way more balanced. So without disregarding the gender discussion, you've touched on the fact that you were the owner of a smaller company, and then you transitioned into amalgamating, I guess, with WMK. Can you tell me a bit about that, just from a decision-making point of view, and you know, why it's been a big step in your career journey? I think it was 15 years of Melly Studio, and you know, there's three choices you have as you build a business, and I think one of the things that I have to be aware of, and you don't give yourself credit a lot, and that's one thing I'm really bad at.
Let's give you some credit now. Let's talk about it.
Is building a business, irrespective of the size, that becomes a sellable asset. And a lot of small business owners, I've read the statistics, and it was really quite depressing that I think it's only 20% of small businesses are able to on-sell their business successfully, and that's a very small percentage. I might have that number a little bit wrong, but it certainly wasn't a huge number that you go, great, you know. And there's three choices. Like, it gets to a stage in business, and the business was a very successful business, great clients, the numbers look great, the culture was really good, but it was more me. Like, how's your energy levels, Julie? How's all those things? I mean, I basically raised my children while I was building the business as well, and so there was massive adjustments when the kids became older and the business got to a stage where I thought, well, what is the next step?
What do you want?
And there's three choices. You either close shop, or you have a succession plan, which my two kids were very not interested, and or you find a partner or another business to merge with, or a buyout, those lines. And it wasn't such an active thing. Like, I thought about it, and then you bounce around, you know, like it becomes one of those things like, how do I see it? What does it look like? Who could it be with? And it was just an opportunity came up, and it was just through a discussion, really. It was, and WMK we had worked with before. We'd been to their business, saw the culture and vibe, the two owners, we got along really well, and it just became a natural conversation. And honestly, the deal, if we call it that, didn't really take long to nut out. And I think when you find people that you align with, Your principles are the same.
Yes.
What you want to, your business brain is the same.
Yeah.
You want to work towards the same things. All of those things line up. You've got nothing to lose. And I was at the point where, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
And it calls for a great conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a very smooth M&A, I have to admit.
That's fantastic. I've heard Warren Buffett has said the best agreements he's got are the one-pagers.
Yes.
He says if it needs to be an 80-page document, I kind of get worried.
Yeah.
Because it means there's too many protections and things, and it's like a heavy prenup.
Yeah.
And what you're saying kind of it aligns with that, because it's about, okay, there's an alignment here personality-wise, business model, ethics, professional, and it happened naturally.
And if you honest to God, like it was a 2-page document.
Oh.
that was really the agreement.
Yeah.
And then the lawyers nutted out, a few more pages, whatever that they like to do. So it was all legitimate, above board, and nice handshake and happy days afterwards. And that was September last year. We announced it in August. The team shifted over, and it's been very seamless. And you see the energy in the room, and I love going to work.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I
think my children. Thank you. Yeah. My children. I think they thought, oh gosh, Mum's retiring.
Yeah.
I was like, no. They're horrified that I'm not. Like, why would you do this and then not just go live in the Maldives or something?
Yeah.
And well, lovely, but I'm not sure what I'd do if I was there.
I agree. You'd be like, you know what, I'm there for a little while, but what are you going to do after that?
Yeah.
And that's where you've got your passion and your purpose. So again, congrats.
Thank you.
And obviously you're taking it from that business as well, from one step to the next.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe we could just segue our chat now a bit into this experiential experience that you create through design.
Yeah.
We've spoken about, joining with a business and having that meeting of minds. How do you find that with a client? Is that a process that you've evolved organically over the years, or is there a template, or how does the creative and the vibe come into how you commercially contract with someone else's business?
Yeah, I always look at it as an alignment of chemistry. You seriously got to have a chemistry with each other. Yeah. And there's so many players. Like if we talk about a project, there are so many players in a project. There's the investors, there's the client, there's most likely a project management, there's 1,000 other consultants, there's your team, there's their team. And as the project goes on, there's more people more
stakeholders. Yeah, exactly.
And what I always like to see is everyone getting along with each other. The baseline
is that?
I know you would think. The baseline has to come from a place of respect.
Yes, yeah.
It helps when everyone sort of stays in their lane. The biggest achiever is if I see people have a laugh with each other.
Yes.
And if you can have a laugh with each other and it's not too serious, and you're all after the same outcome, it's going to be a pretty smooth path. And if there's glitches, it's much better dealing with glitches and challenges if you all have that chemistry.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't have that chemistry, those conversations just get harder and harder and harder.
Yes.
And I actually don't know how you get through that other than it becomes a bit of a bitch.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine.
And there is nothing worse. Like it's like anything, whether it's like a personal relationship, a marriage or whatever, like you've just got to get along.
Yeah.
So I think if you can have a laugh on the way, not take each other too seriously, and respect that we're all really good at what we do.
Yes.
And also accept that occasionally you can make a mistake.
Yeah.
And
we all do.
And own up to it and say, no, I screwed up there. Then that all works out.
Yeah.
So it all works out in the end.
Then. Yeah.
But I think that's where just having that fun in the project. But in terms of the design side, it's, so we just spoke about people, right?
Yeah.
And whatever we're designing for, it is for people.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter what sector it is, whether it's workplace or hotels or an office fit out, seniors living, residential space, it is designing for people. So, you can't ignore that.
No.
Yeah, and you've many ways have to put your personal taste aside.
Yeah, that was my next question.
Yeah.
What if you're
sorry.
like, this is going to look absolutely fantastic, but they're like, no, I want it like this. Yeah.
Yeah, having that client that has a certain vision. Yeah. Look, I think before we're ever selected, I'm pretty sure they go through a whole selection process.
Yeah.
Where again, it's about alignment. Like, does this person see what I'm seeing?
Yes.
And is that going to be a decent conversation or not? But then you'll also have clients who want to be challenged. Like, they have a vision, but they don't want you to just dish out what they ask. Yeah. They want to be challenged.
Yeah.
And I think as experience goes on, you learn to read the room, you learn to read people. And it's always going to have to be about that human and that experience and little things like how things flow, like how you walk through a space. If you can't describe how you walk through that space, it's just not going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's pretty basic.
You have to be able to see what the vision, I guess.
Yeah.
And to align with people.
I mean, how many times, like in hotels, 11 o'clock at night, you've just come back from a really long dinner, you're tired, you're probably a little bit pissed, and you have a shower and you just want to turn the lights off and crash, and you cannot find the light switches.
Oh my God, so many times.
Like, how many times?
Or you do one and it turns everything on, and you're like, how do we not?
Yeah. Or you can't find the ironing board. Like it's, I mean, you won't be ironing after a night like that.
No,
but
you might.
Just little. Sometimes I do, but anyway.
Drunk ironing.
I know, that's interesting, isn't it? At least I'm organised for the next morning. Yeah. But those things.
Yes.
Like it looks great, but does it work?
Yes.
Yeah. So and it has to be a balance of both.
So then there's not like I'm not trying to say that there is a template, but it really is. You've got to see yourself in that space and be like, if that's me in that room, if I'm the elderly person, how am I going to function in this space? If I'm staying somewhere, what am I doing? So if that can be communicated between yourself and the client to achieve that outcome, then you're going to get the best outcome.
Yeah. And to preface, like, templates. I mean, templates have such a place. Like, they have a place in your world, like your business world. They have a place in our world. Like, recreating everything, like things, is probably not the most efficient. Having said that, though, you're engaged for a reason, and there is that creativity. And there are hoteliers and there's developers who've been working in that space forever, and sometimes there is a formula that just works.
Yes,
it's hard to dispute that.
Yes.
However, you can bring an edge to it.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be just such a flat overlay. You can bring layers to it. And I think that's where we love seeing our designs develop, is when you see layers of it and the reasoning behind it. And it may be that same formula. Yes. But there's the difference is in the nature of how you bring pieces together and finishes and colours together and and
all the thing my naive eye would just look at and go, oh yeah, this looks all good, but there's been a lot of thought and consideration into the finishes, the feel, the textures on walls, floors, everything. So then, because we know my world is more development and construction finance, and we know your world is creative and beauty, where they often will clash is where, you know, we've got a feasibility, we've got financiers, the dollars. So, you know, in my own home, in my own office, I might want this, but what is affordable is that. So how does that work, you know, that balance with numbers? And is that part of your process as well, to come in on a budget that is prescribed to you?
I think we touched on before about the amount of people that's involved in a project.
Yes.
And the amount of experts in their field in a project, and part of that collaboration are the suppliers. And sometimes I know they feel like they're very low in the pecking order, but the reality is if we didn't have them, we would have nothing to play with.
Yes.
And having that relationship with them, I feel, is incredibly crucial to that collaboration, because if they didn't have products that looked like that and was price pointed like that, you wouldn't have a development.
Yes.
Because you're always, the numbers are never going to stack.
No.
And the reality is we go through value management more times than we probably would like to.
Yes.
But if you're given a number to work towards, invariably you will find a product that works into it.
In there. Yeah.
So everyone needs to work with each other. So again, it's that respectful interplay with having relationships with people.
Yes.
Who, I mean, I've seen some designers and architects who will not give suppliers the time of day.
Yeah.
I like to think over 15, 20 years that I've given quite a bit of time to suppliers.
Yeah.
Because we need them.
Yeah.
You know, that we can't dance around that.
And
we
when
need
you say
them.
suppliers, you're talking about glass or
the
or true materials,
stones or tiles,
carpets,
you know,
etc.
You know, when we ask them to run, they literally run because, and I'm so grateful that they do, because of that relationship. And if you didn't have a relationship with them, you'd be like, oh well, we'll just send it to you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that, and I say this all the time, it's just so interesting that it's also in your industry. Relationship is, I used to say 50-50 to the work, but it's actually more 70% now in my life, like in what I do. Because if I don't have the relationship with the funder, the developer, the builder, nothing gel, and therefore we can't all work together and collaborate. And I think that collaboration aspect is something that's increasing more in Australian businesses where, you know, we understand we need to work with others, but we're always quite siloed in, you know, this is my business, this is what I'm going to do to get my best net profit.
Yeah.
But really, especially in our industries, it has to have that collaboration to be successful. But it's like we're slow to come to the party on that sometimes.
Yeah. Or there's a fear of collaboration. I mean, the reality is, where I am now with WMK is because we collaborated before.
Yes.
Had we never collaborated, we probably wouldn't now be formally together. You know?
Yeah.
And there is this fear of collaborating, and man, I see it all the time because there's this compete.
Yes.
I'm okay with competing, and I think if we compete with each other, that's fine. And if we compete so that we're bettering the sector or the industry, I totally get that. But if you're just competing because your egos are at play, that's a different ball game.
Exactly.
But the nature of collaborating can be so amazing. The result can be so amazing. You're getting the best of 2 worlds, 3 worlds, 4 worlds, or whatever. And ultimately, you come together. Like, it's a line I use all the time. Like, you've got to play to your strengths. Like, what you're good at, I'm probably useless at, and what I'm good at, it's probably not your strong suite.
Definitely
so imagine if you come together. How
What
good that would be.
What could we do together,
Yeah,
Julie?
I know.
Like,
we'll be
need
sitting
to talk.
here.
Yeah, this is step one.
How long is this
step one.
taken?
I know. Way too long.
Yeah, I know. But it is. Like, you can't be good at everything. And God knows I'm shit at a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So you find the people that you're good at.
Yeah.
For example, it is not good use of my time to put me in front of a computer and start drawing plans. Like, we'd be there until the end of the Brisbane Olympics and I still wouldn't finish. But you give that to someone who's totally into it and it's knocked out in a few days.
Play to your strengths.
Yeah, and they love doing it, whereas I would just find it just be tedious and not good.
It's not. It's not the best application of your skills. But you've learned that over a period of time. I get that. I also see, and this is a judgy thing, but I also see the younger generations come through and they see what I'm doing. And they're like, oh, well, I don't have to do all the hard work to get there, but they haven't actually seen that you've sat and done all those drawings for many, many years to get to this point now.
Yeah, you don't just jump.
No. And it might not even be a young person thing. It might just be a people thing. But I find that people are like, oh, well, that's quick money. That can do this. And they're like, hang on, I don't think you fully understand the blood, sweat and tears that have got me to this point where I've actually time to have these conversations with you and you with me. It's not just like you wake up one day and what looks like an easy thing has actually been decades in the making.
Yeah, it was like when I had the smaller business, and I remember someone who was working with us said, and was never said to me until I heard about it, was how come she leaves work early? And the reality was Monday and Tuesdays I used to leave work at about 2:00 because I'd go pick my kids up from school.
Yep.
And I'm not really interested in justifying why I do things.
No.
But the bottom line is it's because I can.
Yeah.
And it's because I chose to, and because I built this business.
Yeah.
And I choose to have all of you here to be here when I'm not here.
Yeah.
Because I can.
Yes.
And that's the choice thing. So ultimately always comes back to choice. And you choose for this to aggravate you, and who cares? Like, why does it matter to you?
No.
You know?
Yeah. You haven't done the legwork to be able to do this because it's not your company.
Yeah.
The end.
It's a privilege. Like, it's an absolute privilege.
It is a privilege, but it's been the result of hard work and cultivation and strategy. You don't just arrive somewhere because you haven't arrived in your merger and selling your business just out of lack of, strategic, I guess, thinking and drive and purpose. Yeah,
want to share all of that, but I'm not necessarily territorial, I'm not necessarily even that egocentric, really. I just feel like I've got 2 kids that really have no interest, so who do I share that with? And I might as well share that with, the people who I work with, and I might as well learn from them, and I always say this, the day you stop learning is the day when you've, I don't know, maybe it's when I'm in my coffin, but anyway.
Agreed. That's when you stop.
Like you've got to take things out of conversations or meeting new people, like the goodness in them, and even, like I keep saying, don't learn those bad things from me. And I guess one of the things about observing other people is when you see someone who you don't really endear to, it's probably the person you don't want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm really conscious of, God, I don't want to be that person. Please don't be that person.
Yes.
I want to be that person.
That. Yeah, I want to be more like you. I don't want to be more like that person.
I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what we do at the end of all our podcasts is do some quick fire questions.
Oh gosh, okay. Think fast.
So think fast, think on your feet. It could be a 1-word answer or a 1 sentence.
No worries.
I love to do this at the end just to finish off and everyone gets the same treatment.
Okay.
Best career lesson you've learned?
Take the opportunities.
Love that. 1 piece of advice you have received?
Oh God, don't overthink.
Biggest risk you've taken professionally?
Changing careers.
Most underrated factor in building a successful business?
Underrated. Learning from failures.
Biggest mistake businesses make when trying to create customer experiences?
Trying too hard.
A habit you see in highly successful people?
Not sleeping enough.
A power quote or mindset you live by?
Failure is the mother of success.
Julie, you did so well with those answers. I would have to say you're like our top 1 on that.
Great.
But thank you so much for your time today, and I'm so appreciative of it, and also just to know you and what you've achieved. And congrats again, and thank you. I look forward to sharing this with everybody.
I feel so privileged. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.